So fortunately for me, this remix has come together really quickly, and I think it's mostly down to the choice of sounds. So the drums are really simple. I've just got kick, snare, hi-hat and some shakers. The vocals are from the other track because it's a remix. I've got this nice reverse reverb. Which leads into this. Sorry, that wasn't the right place to show you. Anyway, then I've got the bass, which is just recorded straight from the monologue with lots of filter modulation going on. This is a nice little sound from Analog Lab. So that's just a preset that I've used, and I have just gone into the MIDI. It's not an arpeggiator. I have actually clicked all those notes in so that it'll play exactly what I want, but then I've put a delay on top. And again, some filter modulation. Over here, we've got a very similar thing. I think I showed you this in the last video. This is from Analog Lab as well, but it was already a sequence. So what I've done is I've just worked with it as best as I can to get. So that's just inside Analog Lab, but then it comes out into Ableton and it's got a delay on it again. And an arpeggiator which helps it sort of stay in beat with the track, because it re-triggers it each time. Then I've got these stabs, which I did have as octaves on one channel. What I've decided to do is move one of the octaves over to the right speaker, the other octave, the sort of lower octave, to the left speaker, so it's got a bit of a spread on it now. Again, used a little bit of delay. And I can just modulate them both together. So I've whacked a reverb on because there's some sections. This isn't the reverb that I would use as a send. This is more of an effect, this reverb. This is just to sort of make it all sort of washed out in the areas where I'm either sort of building up or dropping down. And then again, two filters, lots of modulation. This was the piano originally, and all I've done is I've changed it to a synth from Wavetable on Ableton. I've just made it myself. It's pretty basic, but that doesn't mean it doesn't sound good. Again, it's just a saw really, and it's got loads of unison, so it's slightly detuned. 7 voices of unison, and there's different. I don't know if you can see here. There are different unison modes, so shimmer gives it a little bit of a wobble. And then we've got this pad sound. This one I made from scratch. This is, again, a wavetable. So because it's that sort of house music, it's very, very simple to make, and it's just a case of finding some nice simple sounds, simple melodies, and modulating everything with filters and reverb. Literally just filters and reverb as well. It doesn't need much else. And it just, yeah, helps the track stay interesting all the way through. And as long as you've got enough different parts, it'll it'll work. So here's another one. So I think last time I updated this one, that bit was at the beginning over the top of the piano and they were clashing. So I moved it to this sort of mid-late section. I changed the piano sound to a synth and it works much, much better now. Here we've got two crashes. They're both stereo, but I've still panned them left and right. Not fully though, so it's probably, you know, sort of 75%. Just because they do sound different and it's nice to have a little bit following through into the other speaker. This is as simple as it gets. This is just a sample that I've thrown in. Suited what I wanted, fit perfectly with what I wanted to do, so it's in there. And probably a similar thing. Oh, in fact, this one's one I made years ago, but now it is, it's been stretched loads, which is usually not a good thing, but with this sort of riser, it's, I'll play it so you can see, but yeah, the usually where it would distort because of being stretched, it actually sounds quite good. It adds texture. So usually I wouldn't want all that wobbliness and distortion, but in this case it works really, really nicely. Let's just open up this so you can see a bit of the modulation. So drums, that is just a high pass filter, so when this comes up the high pass filter is on. Don't know why that's there. Similar thing with the core kit. This is, I added a slight dip, that's a low pass filter for the shakers, so that just dips out. Starts to attenuate some of the high frequencies there. What else have we got? And then obviously the white noise gets most of the modulation because that is what is it's all of the atmosphere for the track. So I'm actually going to play it because you've not heard this one yet.
From the day I met you, I knew you were the one for me. From the day I found you, girl, knew I had to set you free. From the day I saw your face, a cloud above you, a rainy day for all mistakes. Then I met you. You are mine, 'cause you are mine. You are mine. Lullaby. You are mine, 'cause you are mine. You are mine. face, cloud above you. A rainy day full of mistakes, and then I met you. 'Cause you are mine, you are mine, you are mine. Lullaby, you are mine, you are mine, you are mine. Lullaby. Clouds began to part that day, no one standing in your way. An angel singing to the crowd, a smile going on for miles. 'Cause you are mine, you are mine, you are mine. Lullaby, you are mine. Lullaby, you are mine. Lullaby.
So in terms of the mix, it's pretty much done itself, just because the sounds I chose to use were all within their own sort of space within the frequency range anyway. So there wasn't really that much EQing and stuff, because all of the filters moved to give space for the other sounds. What I have done is I've gone through and I've panned any sounds which are in a similar sort of frequency range, and I've spread them out, and I've also stuck a utility on a couple of the sounds, which just makes it a little bit wider. You can just dial up the width, which just spreads the sound more to the extremes. It's just a case of mastering everything now. So all of this is getting put down into a file, and then I'm going to layer it across the top so I can A/B them. And once I've done that, that's job done.